Hi. These days, the world knows me by a different name. But back then, I was just Leia. My parents and I lived in a tiny rented apartment. We barely had any money, but we all dreamed of something bigger. My mom had an incredible voice. She sang all the time. Why don't you become a singer?
Because you came along, Leia.
My dad, on the other hand, was a hopeless dreamer. He worked as a sound engineer at different recording studios, but every evening he'd say the exact same thing.
Someday, I'll own my own recording studio, and then we'll finally have the life we deserve.
I grew up surrounded by microphones. I wrote songs and recorded them on an old voice recorder, but neither my parents nor I believed I had any special talent.
Sounds like a tornado got stuck in a chimney.
Nah, more like an air raid siren trying to launch a music career.
Then one day, Dad's biggest dream finally came true.
I'm buying my own recording studio.
Wait, where'd you get the money? That's when Dad admitted he'd borrowed a huge amount of money from a businessman named Mr. Rice.
He's a respectable businessman. Everything's completely legal.
I just hope we'll be able to pay him back.
We will. The studio will start making money in no time.
For the first few months, everything felt too good to be true. I helped Dad with the equipment, and whenever I had a chance, I'd record my own songs. But Dad hated that.
Leia, you're going to break something.
Unfortunately, the studio wasn't bringing in the money Dad had counted on. There weren't enough clients. The bills just kept piling up, and the debt to Mr. Rice wasn't getting any smaller. Then one afternoon, my parents got ready to head out.
We're meeting Mr. Rice. We'll try to get him to give us more time.
We'll be home for dinner.
Those are the last words they ever said to me. They never made it home for dinner. I started freaking out and kept calling them, but both their phones were off. Then, late that night, there was a knock at the door. It was the police.
Leia Hudson?
Yes?
We're very sorry. Your parents' car was found abandoned in an empty lot. It had been partially burned.
My vision went blurry. I had to grab the wall to keep from collapsing.
The good news is your parents weren't inside the car. The bad news is, we have no idea where they are.
Mom and Dad are missing? I remembered Mr. Rice and told the officers that my dad owed him a lot of money. I'm sure he got mad when my parents asked for more time and did something to them. The cops nodded, jotted something down in their notebooks, and the next morning, they brought Mr. Rice in for questioning. I was at the police station too, anxiously waiting to hear what happened. A couple of hours later, Mr. Rice and the detectives came out of the interrogation room.
Sorry for the inconvenience. You're free to go.
You're just letting him leave?
He has a solid alibi for the time your parents disappeared. Leia, I'm a businessman, not a criminal. Why would I want your parents gone? It'd be far more profitable for me if they were alive and able to pay me back.
I know you're behind this.
Then prove it.
I will. I swear I'll make you pay for this. Days turned into weeks. Eventually, the investigation hit a dead end. My parents were declared missing. And since no one paid off the debt, ownership of the recording studio was legally transferred to Mr. Rice. My 18th birthday was only a few months away. But until then, I was sent to an orphanage. The place smelled like mildew, tears, and broken dreams. The building looked like it could fall apart at any second. The place never had enough money. The kids barely had any toys, and even decent clothes were hard to come by. The staff changed so often that I stopped bothering to learn their names. I kept everyone at arm's length because I knew I'd be gone the moment I turned 18. Only one thing kept me going: getting justice. I didn't care if it took years. One day I'd prove Mr. Rice was behind my parents' disappearance. Then one day, a young volunteer named Nicholas showed up.
Hey everyone, miss me?
Yeah, where have you been?
Sorry, finals kept me busy. But I brought paint, so we're finally gonna spruce this place up. Hey, mind helping me grab the rest of the stuff from the trunk?
Me? Sure. There was something about Nicholas that just drew people in. His smile was so genuine that before I knew it, I was smiling too. I even volunteered to help with the painting. Why do you do all this?
I grew up here. I know exactly what these kids are dealing with, so I come back whenever I can and help out however I can.
Once we'd finished the first hallway, Nicholas ordered pizza for everyone.
Leia, you sure you don't want to grab a slice with us?
No, thanks. I just want to be alone.
No worries.
Nicholas came by almost every day. He could tell something was weighing on me, but he never pushed or bombarded me with questions. I guess that's why we became friends. One morning, one of the caregivers asked me to help sort through a shipment of donated supplies. An old radio was playing in the background. Right before the next song came on, the DJ's upbeat voice filled the room.
And now here's a song that's sitting at the top of the charts. The latest smash hit from the mysterious new artist, Luna.
Then I heard my own voice coming through the speakers. It was one of my songs, one I'd written myself. I rushed back to my room and grabbed my phone. I found article after article about a singer named Luna. I opened the first one I saw. The mysterious Luna has become a music sensation in just a few months. Millions of streams, no interviews, no photos. Nobody knows what she looks like. The mystery is part of her brand. Someone took my old studio recordings and turned them into hits. Before I could even process what was happening, my bedroom door quietly opened.
Mr. Rice sent me. He thinks it's time you found out why the whole country knows your voice, even if they don't know your name.
My stomach tightened the second I heard Mr. Rice's name. But if anyone had the answers, it was him. So a few minutes later, I was in the backseat of his assistant's car. He drove me to the recording studio I knew so well. Only this time, instead of seeing my dad behind the desk, Mr. Rice was sitting in his leather chair. He smiled like he was greeting an old friend. I didn't even try to hide my disgust.
Hello, Leia. Can I get you some water? Soda?
No, let's skip all the small talk. Why are my songs on the radio, and what did you do to my parents?
I never laid a finger on them. As for your songs, it's actually pretty simple. When I took ownership of the studio, I also acquired everything in its archives. Unlike your father, I recognized what those recordings were worth. So I released them under the stage name Luna.
He pulled up the streaming numbers. Millions of plays. It felt unreal. But I couldn't tell if I was living a dream or a nightmare. Those are my songs!
Not anymore.
Mr. Rice pulled a stack of documents from his desk drawer and casually tossed them onto the table in front of me.
This is your father's loan agreement.
That's a lot.
It is. Your father borrowed a great deal of money from me, and this studio wasn't enough to pay it back. So you'll keep recording songs for me until every last dollar of his debt is repaid. After that, you're free to leave, and the rights to your music will be yours again. But there's one condition. No one can find out who Luna really is. I don't want people accusing me of profiting from a family tragedy.
And then I did something crazy. I signed Mr. Rice's contract. Staying anonymous actually worked in my favor too. I wanted people to love my music because it meant something to them, not because they felt sorry for me. But more importantly, agreeing to Mr. Rice's terms gave me the chance to get closer to him and finally find proof that he'd been behind my parents' disappearance. That's how my double life began. Mr. Rice's assistant secretly drove me to the studio. I kept my face completely hidden, so not even the staff knew what Luna looked like. On the other side of the tinted studio glass sat the sound engineer, Ryan. He was a little crazy, but in a good way. Music was his entire life, and he was completely obsessed with Luna's songs. During breaks, he'd always try to get me talking over the studio mic.
You know, it's kinda surreal. I know your voice so well, but I've never even seen your face. A girl who writes lyrics like yours has to be beautiful.
Thanks, Ryan.
Maybe you and I could grab some...
No, sorry, I can't. I knew he had a crush on me, but I wasn't about to break my deal with Mr. Rice before I found the evidence I was looking for. After every recording session came the photo shoots, and of course, I wore a mask there too. During the day, my life was completely different. I was just another girl living at the orphanage. I helped the younger kids with their homework. I worked on fixing the place up with Nicholas. He noticed I disappeared almost every evening, but he never pried.
Leia, if something's going on, just remember you don't have to deal with it alone. I'm here for you.
I know. Thank you. I didn't want to drag Nicholas into my dangerous game with Mr. Rice. Meanwhile, Luna kept getting more popular every day. It made me happy knowing my music was touching people, but I was still a long way from my happy ending. First, I had to find out what really happened to my parents. That day, I decided to make another move in my investigation. I got to the studio early on purpose and snuck into Mr. Rice's office. I couldn't find a single clue about my parents, but one drawer held something even more shocking. Financial reports showing how much money Luna's songs had earned. And guess what? I'd already worked off my father's debt months ago. Bryce has been lying to me just so he can keep making money off my music. My head was pounding from everything that had happened, but life has a way of piling one problem on top of another. The second I saw Nicholas sitting there with his head down, I knew something was wrong. What happened?
They're shutting the orphanage down. The city's declared the building unsafe.
What? No, and what about the kids?
They'll try to place them in other facilities, if there's room. And the ones who are about to turn 18, they might just get told, welcome to adulthood. You're on your own.
There has to be something we can do.
I've already tried finding sponsors. Nobody wants to pour money into a place that's about to close.
I wanted to scream. I hated Mr. Rice more than ever. Luna's earnings could have saved this orphanage. They could have changed these kids' lives. Instead, every dollar had gone straight into that greedy businessman's pocket. That's when I decided it was time to take back what was rightfully mine. The next evening, I put on Luna's mask and recorded a video. I told the whole story, who I really was, and the contract that had tied me to Mr. Rice. Then I revealed my face. But I didn't upload the video. Not yet. It was my insurance policy. Then, suddenly, someone walked into the recording booth. I jumped and quickly pulled my mask back on. Ryan, you scared me.
Sorry.
I was about to leave, but Ryan suddenly stepped in front of me, slowly backing me against the wall.
I want to see your face, Luna. I've fallen for a girl I've never even seen. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Now move.
What's the rush?
Before I could react, Ryan reached over and pulled off my mask.
I knew it. You're beautiful.
Ryan, you're not in love with me. You're in love with the version of me you made up in your head.
Does that really matter?
He leaned in to kiss me, but I shoved him away and slapped him across the face. Don't ever come near me again.
Who do you think you are? You'll regret turning me down.
I didn't even bother with an answer. I marched straight into Mr. Rice's office. I know my dad's debt has already been paid off, so listen carefully. You're going to tear up that contract, hand over every penny Luna has earned, and tell me what you did to my parents.
It's not that simple, Leia. I'm convinced your parents are still alive. They faked their disappearance and ran off with my money, knowing you'd be the one stuck paying their debt.
Don't you dare talk about my parents like that!
I spent months looking for them myself. I even hired a private investigator. I thought they'd come out of hiding once their daughter's songs became famous. That's why I kept you under contract even after you'd paid off the debt. But wherever they are, they've covered their tracks well.
I shook my head. No, my parents would never do that. They would never abandon me. You're lying. I was shaking with anger. Without thinking, I pulled out my phone and posted the video exposing everything.
That's the biggest mistake you've ever made.
You left me no choice. I rushed out of the office and immediately realized Ryan had been listening outside the door. But honestly, at that point, I couldn't care less. When I got back to the orphanage, my stomach sank. The courtyard felt eerily empty. The swings creaked back and forth in the wind. Kids were quietly loading their boxes and backpacks onto a bus. The orphanage was closing for good. Nicholas was waiting for me in my room. For the first time all day, I was actually relieved to see someone. I'm glad you're here. There's something I need to tell you.
Don't bother, I already know.
He held up his phone. My confession video was playing on the screen.
So, you're famous. You have enough money to save this place and you didn't do a thing. They signed the papers to shut the orphanage down an hour ago.
Nicholas, it's not what you think. I never saw a single dollar from those songs. Rice took all of it. Nicholas frowned. I could tell he wanted to believe me. Maybe he would have, if the police hadn't walked into the room a second later.
Leia Hudson, you're under arrest on suspicion of poisoning Mr. Rice. He was found dead in his office an hour ago.
I didn't even have a chance to respond. All I heard was a sharp click of handcuffs locking around my wrists. I didn't do anything.
I'd like to believe you, but you were the last person to see Mr. Rice alive. And remember what you told us a few months ago? You swore you'd get even with him. Sounds like a pretty strong motive to me.
No, you've got it all wrong. Wait, there's a security camera in Mr. Rice's office. Check the footage.
We already did. The video shows you walking into his office, and then it cuts out. Almost like someone erased the rest. Doesn't look good, Miss Hudson.
I bit my lip, and Ryan immediately came to mind. He had to be the one who deleted the footage to get back at me. But how was I supposed to prove it? Was this really the end? Just then, another officer entered the room and handed the detective a file.
Well, that's interesting. Miss Hudson, you're free to go. Take the cuffs off of her.
Wait, what?
We're treating this as a poisoning, but the medical examiner confirmed that Mr. Rice died of a heart attack.
I felt completely numb. Rice had taken every answer with him. And with the orphanage closed, I had nowhere to go. I was almost 18, which meant no one was exactly lining up to take me in. So I wandered back to the empty building and sat down on the front steps. Then I heard someone call my name.
Leia Hudson?
Yeah, do I know you?
I'm a private investigator. Mr. Rice hired me to find your parents, and I did.
She handed me a few photos. Mom and Dad were smiling, living what looked like a perfect life somewhere by the ocean. I should have felt relieved. Instead, my heart broke. He was right. He really left me.
Mr. Rice asked me to give you this if anything ever happened to him. And one more thing, Leia. Sometimes the best thing you can do is leave the past where it belongs. You've been given a fresh start. Don't throw it away chasing ghosts.
And she walked away. I opened the folder. Inside was a check for every dollar I'd earned after paying off my dad's debt. Underneath it were the legal papers transferring the rights to every one of Luna's songs back to me. 6 months later, I was performing in front of thousands of fans. The mask had become nothing more than a part of my stage look. Everyone knew my face now. After the show, I stayed to sign autographs. Then, just as I was about to step into my limo, I heard two voices in the crowd that stopped me cold. Leia! Sweetheart, it's us!
We're alive!
The detective's words echoed in my mind. Don't look back. Just keep moving forward. Nicholas was already waiting for me in the limo. The grand opening of our new orphanage was the next morning, and we still had a million things to finish. But I couldn't do it. I turned around. I wanted them to see I'd survived, that I'd built a life without them. Tears streamed down my face. My parents started walking toward me, reaching out to hug me. I couldn't move. My legs wouldn't listen. Part of me wanted to run, but another part wanted answers. What would you do? Would you give them a chance to explain why they abandoned their own daughter, or would you keep walking and never look back?